So Dana, I am so thankful that you joined us about a year ago, right?
Yep, a year ago this coming August.
What made you want to get into real estate?
So it's always been a passion of mine.
Yeah.
Ironically, when I was in high school, I was an admin for a brokerage.
I didn't know that.
It was Century 21 Realty Group.
Oh,
off
cool.
of 71st and Graham. So that was my debut into real estate. Always wanted to do it, but out of college, I fell into corporate America.
Okay.
So had a great career in IT consulting for about 16 years.
Wow.
Was a stay-at-home mom for a good 8 years.
Wow.
Had my own business at home, which was very successful. Came
Wow.
back into the workforce, went into medical business development.
Wow. That's a lot of experience.
A lot of experience.
Yeah.
So, I get the question often, how long have you been in real estate? And I say 4 years, but it's a second career.
It is.
I have 20 years plus of corporate experience, life experience.
Yes.
So I don't let the 4 years of experience, it's all, how many transactions have I done?
Right.
How have I helped clients
Yes.
over the 4 years that I've been in?
What made you make that leap in 2020, right? During
2020,
COVID?
2019, I started studying for my test.
Awesome.
At the time, my now husband, we were dating, and he said, what would you love to do?
Oh, I love that.
If not, corporate America, what else would you do? And I said, real estate. I mean, it was like just that quick, instant. I love real estate. He said, well, then get your real estate license.
Oh, I love that.
Okay, really?
Support at home, that's where it starts.
He was very, very supportive and encouraging. So got my license, jumped right in, had 5 transactions in like 6 months.
Holy smokes.
And then the first full year, I was up for Rookie of the Year. I came in second.
Rookie of the Year candidate. That's, of course.
Right. So found success immediately. And I think it was, I'm from this area, live in the area, know the area. I had a good sphere, which I think is very key in this business. Yep, building the database.
Yeah.
So things just kind of took off. Years 2 and 3, and now here we are in year 4.
That's amazing.
My husband joined me full time in the business. He's had his license for about 2.5 years.
Okay.
But he retired from law enforcement after 40 years.
Wow.
And so now we do this full time. And he's at a season of his life where he does want to slow down. I kind of want to run hard and fast.
Keep running, girl.
So we kind of. He's
good
the
yin
to my yang.
I love that. And so I was really excited for you to come today because at the ripe age of 19, you have decided to join our real estate brokerage.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the background on how you decided real estate and a little bit about your passion for that.
Well, initially, the reason I got into real estate was I had no clue it was even something that I could have the opportunity to get into.
Yeah.
And initially, I say this every time, it all started with just a Facebook post. My parents used to work with another realtor that 20 years ago, he just jumped into real estate and we stayed connected the entire time. My parents were actually his first purchase with a home.
Cool.
And I mean, 20 years ago he started, and 20 years later he wanted me as an assistant, and I got to meet with him and just connect with him and watch how he ran his business, helped people out, and I learned a lot from that. And he eventually sat me down and was like, Carson, do you want to be a real estate agent? Do you want to do what I'm doing? Because you have the ability, you can do it. It's just up to you. And I was like, no hesitation. I was like, yes, I want to do it. And I mean, I even see myself throughout high school, throughout elementary, junior high, all of that. No matter what it is, I've always tried to help people. Whether it's, the majority of the time, it's been lawn care because my dad and my grandpa, they started a lawn care business years ago. And I've always hustled, I've always helped out people, and it's never been about the dollar that I get. It's about the connection that I build, people that I meet, and what comes from that.
That's so neat. So you started with your parents' realtor from 20 years ago, and you kind of started to see the ins and outs of the business.
Yeah.
And after a year, he encouraged you to go get your license and become a full-blown realtor.
Yeah.
At the age of 19.
At the age of 19. Well, actually, I was 17.
Yeah.
I was 17. He brought up the idea, and I was like, yeah, let's do this.
Great.
Because I did have the opportunity to go to Marion College for rugby, but I had to get hip surgery in December.
Ugh.
So it was a big decision of, do I want to move forward with college and play a college sport, D1?
Wow.
Or do I want to try and make something out of this real estate? Because my dad, he's been a huge mentor to me this entire time, and he brought up all the aspects of what I could build out of real estate, and with how young I am and how much I could learn. And what I've really tried to keep with myself the entire time is, what can I teach to others?
Yeah.
How can I, everything from investments to just saving your money, to building that generational wealth, those early steps. Nobody teaches that in school.
No.
I mean, maybe I had one class where it was a semester of like, okay, here's how to be financially responsible, but no clue how to
One class
buy.
isn't set up for generational wealth.
Not at all.
That's such a good point, because as a former teacher, I remember being in the schools and kids don't understand entrepreneurism or being a business owner unless you live it because your parents are it.
Yep.
So it's really neat for you to take that leap and to go from D1 rugby, which would be awesome. You have to be disciplined. You have to take care of your body, your mind. You have to go to practice, and it's a lot to take on. But so is real estate. So choosing between the two was probably really tough.
Yeah, it was really tough because all my friends were going to Marion. I started rugby in 6th or 7th grade, and I stuck with the same people the entire time.
Oh, I love that.
Even throughout high school. I mean, I was big with wrestling, football, rugby. So the discipline is a huge thing to me. And
And just to tell our audience a little bit is that Sarah and I and a few other investors are opening a Keller Williams franchise, which we want it to be a high-level elite brokerage that focuses on training, education, and investing in ourselves.
Yeah.
Because realtors are 1099s and they don't have 401ks, and no one really thinks about it. Myself, a former teacher, I had that pension for a little bit, and I knew I was growing my retirement very slowly, right? But I think that for us together, our passion is to help others. As a former nurse and a former teacher, we're servant hearts. And the cool story about Sarah and I was in the middle of a coffee shop doing a vetting profile for purchasing this Keller Williams franchise. And I don't ever read my emails. My emails are managed because I work with such a high volume of client, and I'm so hands-on with my clients in the transaction, that Sarah happened to email about an off market. And I love the hustle. I love the off market hustle. And that's what I was teaching my team at the time. So when Sarah messaged about trying to get her clients into one of my houses that she knew about, it just really made me realize, like, oh, I love people who are this energy to go out and find the house for their client, not just sit back. You were a passionate, aggressive realtor, and those are the ones I love. So we had this email exchange, and then fast forward about a month and tell them how we met.
So it was St. Patrick's Day, and I was out celebrating my sister, but in true fashion, with my computer still working, waiting on some offers and counters and all the things. So I remembered Megan from her email signature line, and a counter came in, and I was like, I'm just going to go up to her and ask her what she thinks. So I went up to her, and we just hit it off. It was like we've known each other forever. And we just went back and forth and, came up with a plan, went outside, made the call, and we got it done, and then we cheersed, and the rest is history. Like, it's been instant, like you found your person you should be in business with right away.
Yeah, and it was so cool because I love helping. And so for Sarah to go, I have all these offers, and what would you do in the middle of a St. Patrick's Day celebration in a bar on a Friday when you're probably supposed to be having fun with your friends? That was having fun for us. We had our laptops and we're talking. And so fast forward, Sarah and I realized we connected so much, and we said, let's grab a coffee. And that coffee turned into 2 hours, and then it turned into more. And then I told her about my passion to build a brokerage that is focused on high-level education, where you come into your meetings and you're learning something of value every single time you leave that meeting. And that really spoke to you. I think after 6 years in the industry, you were ready to kind of understand and level yourself up in your sales, right? So when I met you, how much sales had you done? And tell us a little bit about that.
So yeah, when we met, I was still actually practicing. And I think that, I went to school for so long that it was hard for me to give up a 401k, insurance,
benefits,
all the things. And we met and we sat down, and I was still practicing at the time, and I was around 6 million. And it was really interesting because for the first time, somebody gave me like permission to quit my job and follow it. And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And then it just stuck with me, and I think I went in the parking lot and made a call.
But the conversation I said to you was, oh, you only work 1 or 2 days a week, but those are very heavy days. And also
Right.
you had 2 little kids, and you're also killing an amazing real estate business on the side. And those are a lot of hats to wear.
Yeah. So basically, after that, I was able to get hyper focused because I was being pulled in so many directions to keep up with medicine. And real estate was happening for me, but I wasn't able to do it at the level that I wanted to.
Yep.
So, fast forward, I went from 6 to almost 14 million in the next 6 months
Amazing.
and tripled my income. And that was the right thing to do.
That's amazing.
And I've never looked back, and I've never regretted it.
Yeah, and I like to point out that I didn't know I gave you permission to quit your job. I'm very direct, and I just said, why are you taking this part-time job? I know you love being a nurse, but you're crushing in real estate, and if you focused, you could probably elevate. And I didn't know how serious you were, and for you to go and take that advice and execute, that's where the real win is you executed, and then you're able to focus on real estate solely. You hired your first admin, right?
Yep, hired a TC, hired an assistant, has hired a buyer's agent at this point. It's just taken off, and I think that it's really about, I really think the key to it all is figuring out what you're passionate about and what you really love and what you excel at, and then leveraging everything else.
Yes, that's right.
And it takes time, and you can't do it that fast. But for me, it was like, what do I not like doing the most, and taking that off my plate.
Yes.
And then that allowed me to be in a different mindset, so then I performed at a higher function.
Yes.
It's crazy.
And it's a lot. It's hard for women, especially as moms. We feel like we have to do it all. We have to do the laundry. We have to clean. We have to go to work. We have to continue your nursing part time because you loved it and you worked your butt off to get that degree and you paid good money for that degree. But it's awesome that now there's some self-awareness, especially around women who are yes ma'ams and we want to do it for everyone. And we realize that you're spreading yourself too thin.
Yeah.
And now you were able to focus on your real estate and you tripled your income.
Yeah.
So now you outsource the laundry, right? You outsource the cleaning.
Leverage.
Everything.
Everything's leverage. Yeah, no, 100%. Like, I just feel like I'm so happy that I did it.
Yeah, and the fun fact is that we were talking about doing this. We're going to do this, and Sarah actually transferred her license. You were with a former brokerage, a local boutique brokerage, and then transferred your license before I transferred
Megan.
my license.
And then I did it, and I called her, and I said, girl, you better not catfish me.
So,
She did it. Look at us now.
mostly I had some dealings to close, but it was really cool that your passion was, you could feel it in our meeting, and that you were willing to like go all in. And people are sometimes very afraid to go all in, and you bet on yourself.
Yeah. I mean, change is scary for everybody.
Yep.
But I think there's certain things in life that you see and you cannot unsee.
Yeah.
And it's a complete gut check. And, instead of making it scary, I just try to make it as exciting and something
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
And I just think you have to bet on yourself. Like, I know that I have within me the capability to do anything that I want to.
That's right.
I think it's about figuring out what you want to do and then how do you execute.
Yep.
And I think the stars just aligned for me in this business, and meeting you and our partnership and what we've grown. And what I'm most proud of, Megan, is our culture.
Yeah.
I think that we have a culture of growth. We're really being innovative and doing things a different way.
Yep.
It's
We have a
just
text
awesome.
thread that says no Sunday scaries because we
Yep.
love our Monday meetings, right? Tell us a little
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, so the Monday meetings, we believe in celebrating the wins. We
Yep.
believe in, going through case studies of this happened and how did you handle that? Because there's a million ways to run your business in real estate.
That's right.
You just have to figure out how you want to do it, but also putting yourself around people. So, this is a really interesting thing for me, is that there is probably 2 or 3 people that I've met in my life that have come into my life at various times, and they have really taken the ceiling off my head. And once I was able to open my mindset to, there's no ceiling, like,
No.
what do you want to do? And it literally gives me chills. And
does.
Megan, you are definitely one of those people that has, sometimes you just feel seen,
Yeah.
and people see what you're capable of. And then, we start going down this rabbit hole of creating this, creating that.
Yeah.
And it becomes this thing. And I'm so proud of what we're doing.
Me too. And thank you for that, because I think what is neat is that you actually started listening to real estate podcasts before you and I even met. And you met a lot of high level, high net worth, active realtors, investors, and business people. so that when I did bring the opportunity to you to do something big, like create a brokerage, your mind wasn't
I was like,
scared.
yeah, let's go. Like, no question about it. Like, I've had zero doubt, like, about anything.
That's amazing. And that's when you know it's right?
Yeah.
So speaking about innovation, part of our brokerage is teaching on the investment. So as a former teacher and a former single mom, my investments allowed me to have financial freedom or financial success, that I can live my life the way I wanted to with 3 kids and working. And so I wanted that success for others, because I know as a self-taught investor, former teacher, if I could do it, any realtor can do it. We all have this knowledge in our head about cash flow, about rates, about a good buy, what's not a good buy, what's a good contractor, who's not. We all have that. It's why don't we apply it to ourselves? So for me, I've done several flips, and I bought one for the company for portfolio to teach you guys. And we had an amazing time teaching and showing like field trips to our flips, right? It was great.
Yes. So when I was first starting out, and I still do a lot of open houses. It's a great way to meet people. If you're brand new, it's a great way to practice, you know, showing a home, talking about the features.
It's true.
Getting out of your comfort zone of, you know, talking to people, putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
I got my first listing through an open house. Then I got the buy side. I got several buyers. And then it has just kind of, started rolling from there. You know, you provide excellent service, you know, and you just market the heck out of those listings you get, and you start getting calls. And
that's right.
You know, it's
and I
kind
think
of grown
activity breeds activity.
Yes.
And you followed up after you met people.
Yes.
The fortunes in that follow-up and those details, right?
Exactly.
That's so amazing. So I want to tell the audience that we're in the first 6 months of 2024, and you've already pended closed your entire volume from last year.
I have.
That's amazing. Like, that has to feel, and as a busy mom of 3 kids.
Yes.
With a husband that travels.
Yes.
You can do it.
Yes.
Yeah, and tell us like a little bit, how did the transition from, it's scary to leave a brokerage because
Very
you're
scary.
content, right? You
Yes.
told Sarah, I'm good.
Yes.
But then you came to a couple meetings and you saw the culture, I think. And I have to tell the story actually of you were in a meeting, just a random training.
Yes.
I don't even remember what it was about, but we just invited you to a training. You're like, I'm going to stop by. And then we just had an amazing meeting. We learned a lot. We all masterminded. And you're like, you guys, I'm joining. Or something. We're like, woo! We had like a video of us clapping because we were not expecting it, because we knew you just wanted to have some extra training. We didn't know that you were ready to make that leap.
Right.
But was it so scary to make the leap, or was it more in your head?
It was scary at the time,
Sure.
But looking back, I mean, my biggest thing was coming from a traditional brokerage where there is the office, and you walk into the office with your questions. You know, being still new, being only 2 years in, I thought, who the heck is going to answer my questions? But I will tell you, with the text thread that we have and everything, I have never not had the help that I've needed when I have had questions.
That's awesome. So once you joined Keller Williams, our portfolio team, about a month or so later, we set about 6 or 7 women on learning spring break.
Oh, yeah,
Can
learning
you talk
spring
a
break.
little bit about learning spring break?
Yeah, so you invested in us, paid
did.
for us to go to this leadership training. 7 of us? We all shared a house. We got an Airbnb.
So cool.
Barely knew each other. We had so much fun. And that's the thing, too. This is so fun. It is work hard, play hard.
Yeah.
All of our personalities are different, but we thrive on each other. We're goofy. We're silly.
Yeah.
We're twerking to like the hottest hit in the living room, you know, drinking rosé. And then the next morning, 8 a.m., we're back in the classroom setting, like taking notes feverishly and learning all that we can. So,
and you got to talk to like our director of leadership. You got to talk to our president.
The top leaders.
Top leaders and executives at Keller Williams were pouring into you for like 3 days.
Absolutely,
I think it was.
A lot of
I had total FOMO. I wish I could have gone on that trip, but it's probably good I did it. It looked like you guys
we were
had a
keeping
blast.
you informed on socials.
Oh yeah, there was lots of texts and posts. Oh, it was my birthday during that time, and you guys called me at 1 a.m. to sing me happy birthday.
My goodness.
It was the
Yes,
best.
yes,
It made me
yes.
smile. I missed it.
That was
so
fun.
that's what I love is like when in my former brokerage, I asked for trainings. I asked to lead them. I asked to be sent to them because I knew that multiple times I'd been number 1 in the state, but I didn't have anybody to network with. You know, I was always pouring down, and I never felt like I got poured into. So I wanted a brokerage where no matter what, you know, you're teaching me something. Alexa's our 25-year-old teaching us about reels, right? I think she taught you how to do your
gosh, the
first
first
reel.
time I did a reel, it took me an hour.
Me too. It took me a weekend, I think.
I avoided it because it took me so long.
Right,
But
and now
we can all learn from each other.
Yeah.
We all have different
skill sets
and things that we're great at. I love data. I share all the appraisal packets I do. I share with you guys.
Let's talk about. I love your appraisal packet. Is so thorough.
Yeah,
and
but
so
you know,
legit.
it's what we all have these specialties. You know, Sarah with the staging and the things that
Kyle
she
with
loves to
Instagram.
do, and Kyle with Instagram. So, but we share. That's like what I love the most. Is I'm never gonna feel like you're too busy for me or gotten to the level where you can't help anymore. We're all helping.
Well, and
back to that, what we talked about a little bit earlier. I was looking at successful realtors in various brokerages, and they all had coaches. And I thought, I can't spend $1,500 a month on a coach.
No.
Well, once I joined Portfolio, I have like 30 coaches.
You're so right.
I mean, I have coaches everywhere
day. If you need a midterm rental, we call Michelle Romano, right? If you need anything high-level investments, you're calling Peter Stewart, Zach Null, or Josh, right? And I love pricing and negotiation and verbiage and scripts. So my English background, I love giving scripts and writing. And I tell anybody, if you need some help with inspection response, just send it to me and I'll write it. I'll help you write it.
Right.
Because I have to pour my 15 years experience back into you guys so then I can help you guys grow, because that's my why. Is this is my third team in real estate, and I wanted to do it in a place where we can grow rapidly at the pace that everybody wants to.